Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I think we got our connectivity issue solved. Marquette, you were about to tell me how you went from California to Baltimore. So go ahead and
Oh,
finish that
yes.
story.
Okay. I married my high school sweetheart, who was active duty in the Navy when we graduated, and eventually got orders to California. We moved to California in 2020, sorry, 2001,
Okay.
um, and lived in San Diego all that time for about 20 years until I moved back. Yeah.
Good stuff. So how do you like Baltimore compared to California? Sort of West Coast to East Coast, literally.
Um, I would say coming back 20, 20 years older than when I left. And as a bodybuilder,
Mm,
the experience has been, if I'm honest, it's been kind of rough. Because I don't look typical. And so when people see me, they'll say, well, I can tell you work out. And then it'll go to, um, or maybe it's too much muscle. People are very vocal with their concerns
right.
about, how I present. And when I lived in California, I can say maybe because it's a bigger bodybuilding culture there. It's not abnormal to see somebody with a bunch of muscles, male or female.
Right.
Um, when I lived in Southern California, there was a huge bikini, um, grouping. A lot of women there did bikinis, some figure, but not really bodybuilding or, um, so it's been really interesting as far as dating, as far as even just in, reconnecting with friend groups and things like that. It's really more of an issue for people, I think, than I realized as of late.
Mm-hmm.
And as I've done more shows and even national shows, um, I've honestly had to take a break at times from engaging with people because the approach has not always been very kind, or the criticism or the feedback from people that I don't even know, say like on social media, or just things
Mm-hmm.
out here people say if I'm just walking in a store, walking in the grocery
Mm-hmm.
store. So it's a part of bodybuilding that I never envisioned when I set out to just lose weight and started enjoying lifting weights, that was what came with it.
Mm.
I had experienced shaming when I was 350 pounds. I had no idea that people experience that when they're in shape. And so it's
That's
something that
yeah.
still boggles my mind at times.
So you got it on both ends.
Yeah. And I
Um,
think as a woman, um, you get it on both ends. Yes. Yes. And I think as a woman, we are sensitive in a different way than maybe men are about their bodies. And so, especially when you're in a space where you're dating and actively trying to meet people, that, the perception is automatically negative because you have muscle. Or, it's very disheartening at times. But even with that, I would not change anything that I'm doing. I wouldn't stop training. I wouldn't stop competing. I wouldn't stop
mhm.
any of it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I hold on to when, it kind of gets to be a bit much. I still wouldn't do anything different.
Well, that's their problem, not yours. And that's the whole basis of Amazon's fitness
Exactly.
magazine, because female bodybuilders get so much shade. And then recently, obviously, figure as well as women's physique. And, you know, that's their problem. And I'm trying to keep from cursing. But
I
that's the
know.
problem with them, not you. You know,
Right.
celebrate the female physique, Amazon's fitmag.com, and subscribe. And that's a problem for you. And they body shame whether you're too big, body shame you when you're in
Yeah.
shape. You know, you can only live by your standard and live by your rules and
That's
bump everybody
yes.
else. You know,
Yep. Yep.
talk to me about you're ICU nurse, but you also teach.
I do.
Talk to me about that and the fact that you were on your doctorate.
Right. So I finished my doctorate in 2013. And
Congratulations.
I my
Yes.
doctorate is clinical. So
Hmm.
most people have the PhD is the research PhD.
Right.
Um, I very much love patient care and interacting with patients and teaching at the bedside. So my doctorate is a DNP, which is Doctorate of Nursing Practice, and it's clinical.
Nice.
So taking the research, taking the evidence, and then how do we apply that in practice to best help patients? And so I've always taught clinically. I've done some lecture, but I much more enjoy clinical. Um, I teach usually fall and spring, and then I have the summer off, which is usually when I do more of my competing. But I
Right.
teach at a local 4-year university, critical care, because that's my passion. And I truly enjoy teaching. It's been interesting teaching post COVID,
Mm.
because so much, just like everything else in the world, was augmented during COVID. So students weren't allowed in the hospital during COVID like they would have their normal clinical. So when the world opened up again, you had these junior and senior level nursing students who were really freshmen as far as their exposure to patients,
Right.
but yet almost ready to graduate. And so there was some unique nuances in kind of how to acclimate them in the clinical setting and get them semi comfortable. And then being a nurse in practice and seeing students who've graduated and are now new grads on the other side, it's a very
Hmm.
interesting perspective because you can see where the gaps are. Um, Luckily, my organization is responsive, and I'll say, well, that person might legitimately need more orientation time because they
Right.
didn't get what we normally think of. We're not getting that type of package right out of nursing school. So they may need a
Hmm.
little more time because they truly haven't seen certain things or had certain experiences because of, just being a student during COVID.
Right.
Um, I like to think it's, kind of how I pay it forward. If I ever end up as a patient, hopefully, we've taught them enough to kind of be able to help people the way we've been helped. And I've always had great teachers
Hmm.
that really made me want to teach too. But it's definitely something I really enjoy um, a lot, a lot.
When nursing runs heavy, with me and my family, I'm married to an LPN. One niece is a nurse anesthetist. My brother was a nurse
Wow.
anesthetist. His
Okay.
son was a nurse anesthetist. And then I
Wow.
got another niece that is she's a travel nurse, but she loves trauma.
Okay.
And that's something special.
Oh, yeah.
And then
All
I
high
have another
level
niece.
nursing. Yep.
Yes. Not everybody can
Yes.
do that trauma. I'm like, she really loves it. So, and then I got another niece because I got a large family. She's actually a doctor at Ohio State University. So when you were talking, I was like, oh, it's right up my lane too. So that drew me as a heavy interest to talk to you as well, because you being a female bodybuilder, but also a nurse, you know, the ins and outs. I'd like to ask you, what's your take on the drug Ozempic?
Absolutely no.
Mm. Did you hear my question? You were breaking up. What's your take on the drug Ozempic? Oh, we lost her again, ladies and gentlemen. Great conversation with Marquet Johnson. Um, really appreciate her coming on. She has a travel agency called Wanderlust Travels, and so she's actually doing bookings and something that's going to help a lot with competitors as they try to get everything set up to travel to different shows. She has a travel agency, so that's going to be a huge benefit to competitors as well. But we're going to wait a couple of minutes to see if she pop back on. If not, we'll end it, try to bring on another time. But she's an ICU nurse, women's bodybuilder. She's getting ready for her amateur show at the Olympia Amateurs. So I want to wish her all the best in that regard. But she has such an interesting background. She's not just doing it, but she's living it, losing over 100 pounds and then finding a trainer and then coming into women's bodybuilding. And as you saw earlier, she talked about the body shaming that she felt or people question her as far as before she lost the weight. And then when she loses the weight, they also came back and body shamed her about of being a female bodybuilder. So uh, great story. So we're gonna wait a couple of minutes and see if she can get her back on. And so y'all just stand by and hang out. You got me? Let's see. He's trying to come on. Let's see here. Maybe we can get her back. There she is. Let's see here. You got me? Marquette. Mm, she's still frozen, ladies and gentlemen. So. Lost her again. What a great background she has, great bio, and definitely an inspirational story. Uh, so definitely gonna be talking to her again soon. She's in Baltimore. She's a nurse, an ICU nurse. She teaches. She has a PhD, a clinical PhD. So she's putting out nurses as well and teaching and training them, and then she's doing it in the hospital as well. So such an exciting story, Marquette Johnson, and that's just great. I mean, so I definitely will get her back on. Things happen with connectivity and things like that. So we'll get her back on and we'll go from there. But that being said, I've been going back and forth on my phone, and this is exciting. I got some breaking news for you. I just got a DM from Miss Ashley Jones, and she's been accepted to the Rising Phoenix. So she said, I just wanted to hit you up as soon as I knew. So exciting, great news. And you were one of the first people I wanted to tell you helped in making this possible. And that's great. Glad I could help that she feels that way, but I decrease so they can increase. And so much of this platform, and I wanted to sponsor an athlete this year and ended up sponsoring 3 of them. And so I'm excited for Ashley Jones. She's going to the Rising Phoenix, been accepted. And of course, here in a couple of weeks, you'll see her on stage at the New York Pro. So congratulations, Ashley. And hey, glad I could help in any way. But I didn't do anything. You already done it. You've done the heavy lifting. And so congratulations to Ashley Jones as she's been selected to go to the Rising Phoenix. And then, of course, in a couple of weeks, she's going to be at the New York Pro. So I'm excited about that. Coming up on the podcast next week is the return of Wellness Wednesday, and Melissa Guerrero will be joining me. Here's a shot of our most recent shoot. And of course, we'll be shooting again very soon, as she is also doing the New York Pro. Next week, I will be leaving on Thursday morning, early Thursday morning, going to the Pittsburgh Pro. So if you want to book a shoot, let me know, as we're trying to finish up the May issue of Amazon's Fitness Magazine. This is the anniversary issue, and wanted to hold it. I was to keep gathering content, but wanted to publish it on the 15th of May, which is my birthday. So the month of May, the month of Taurus. So that's exciting. As Amazon's Fitness Magazine is now 2 years old today, and so much more to come, not just as far as sponsored athletes, but we want to get into helping sponsor shows as well, reaching out to female promoters. That being said, give a shout out to our sponsor, Maximus Posing Suits. Message want to pass along that she is taking orders for shows starting in July. That's the Linda Murray, that's the Chicago Pro, and the others. So if you need a suit, now's the time to contact Michelle Bogdan, MaximusPosingSuits.com, on Instagram, as well as her email as well. Just find it on her page and get your suit ordered. Again, big news, breaking news. Ashley Jones is going to the Rising Phoenix. Excited about that. We want you all to subscribe, like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And of course, subscribe to Amazon's FitMag.com. Celebrate the female physique. And I will see you guys next week. And I'll try in a future date near coming up soon to get Marquet Johnson back on so we can talk more about her story. Great inspirational story that she had, and she shared it here with me on the Amazon's Fitness Magazine YouTube channel. Other than that, I will see you guys next week for Wellness Wednesday, and then it's off to the Pittsburgh Pro. So take care. Talk soon.